welcome. Live from New Delhi, this is DD India, India's voice to the world. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up in News Hour now...
एकदम करीब आ चुके हैं। हाँ, आप तालियों के गड़गड़ाहट से सुन सकते हैं कि हम लोगों ने तीसरे चरण को भी बहुत ही सफलतापूर्वक हासिल कर लिया है और अभी हम देख सकते हैं कि हम लैंडर मॉड्यूल
One giant leap for India. History is made as India's lunar mission Chandrayaan-3 successfully lands on the moon's surface. India erupts with excitement at the landing, a reaction shared across the world. BRICS' expansion tops the agenda in Johannesburg, with India's Prime Minister fully supporting the move. PM Modi also holds bilateral meeting with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, pledges to keep working together to strengthen the voice of the global South.
भारत ब्रिक्स की सदस्यता में विस्तार का पूरा समर्थन करता है और इसमें कॉन्सेंसस के साथ आगे बढ़ने का स्वागत करता है।
Japan is set to release treated radioactive water from the Fukushima nuclear power plant, but Tokyo residents remain worried. India is quite literally over the moon after becoming the fourth nation in the world to land on its surface and the first on its south pole. India's space scientists erupted into celebrations inside mission control when the lander Vikram successfully touched down. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed their effort and said their feat will help the world.
One giant leap for India. A history-making moment that's been 4 years in the making. India's moon mission, Chandrayaan-3, landed near the south pole of the moon at lunar surface at 6:04 p.m. Indian Standard Time.
India is now on the moon. आज हम अंतरिक्ष में नए भारत की नई उड़ान के साक्षी बने।
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is in South Africa to attend the BRICS summit, praised the team behind the landing and says their success will help other countries in future.
India's successful moon mission is not just India's alone. This is a year in which the world is witnessing India's G20 presidency. Our approach of one earth, one family, one future is resonating across the globe. Our moon mission is also based on the same human-centric approach.
The achievement makes India the fourth country after Russia, the US and China to land on the moon and the first to land on one of the lunar poles.
In addition to it, we also have support from East.
The entire mission operations right from launch till landing happened flawlessly as per the timeline, and we became the fourth country to land, to demonstrate the soft landing onto the moon surface, and we became the first country to go to near to the south pole of the moon.
Having landed safely, Chandrayaan-3 has already achieved the first of its 3 mission objectives, and attention now turns to the other 2. They are to demonstrate the rover operating on the moon and to conduct in situ scientific experiments. Chandrayaan-3 is a follow-on mission to Chandrayaan-2, which was launched on 22nd July 2019.
Approximate
Learning that we got from Chandrayaan-2 of our unsuccessful attempt to soft land has really helped us in perfecting the methodology, and also to have large number of experiments tests to prove the process of landing, and it has paid dividends today.
Chandrayaan-3 will also explore the moon's physical, geological and chemical characteristics, hunting for viable sources of water to sustain life on the Earth's lone natural satellite. Bureau Report, DD India.
India's Prime Minister watched history being made while attending the BRICS summit in South Africa. He spoke with ISRO Chief S. Somnath shortly after the landing.
जी, आपका तो नाम सोमनाथ और सोमनाथ नाम चंद्र से जुड़ा हुआ है, और इसलिए आज आपके परिवारजन भी बहुत आनंदित होंगे। मेरी तरफ से आपको, आपकी पूरी टीम को बहुत बहुत बधाई, और सबको मेरी तरफ से अभिनंदन कह दीजिए, और हो सके उतना जल्दी मैं आप सबको रूबरू में भी बधाई दूंगा। बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं और बहुत बहुत बधाई।
And Indian Space Agency's chief spoke exclusively to DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya as well, just moments after Chandrayaan-3 made that historic landing on the moon's surface.
Joining me is ISRO chief on this historic occasion. Sir, ISRO has created history. Amazing time, and what better it could be?
It's really a great feeling for all of us. So the nation is with us. It has created such an excitement among youngsters, people who have been watching this. See, it also shows the power of our nation. And I want to tell you that we can do this. See, for a frugal engineering and the scientific talent that we have, we can do wonders. And we will one day put man on the moon as well. So let us look forward this.
Sir, Prime Minister Modi also joined, and it was another historic day for you. You know, he was also looking at the whole thing. How was the feeling among the scientific community?
See, we were very enthused by his presence. The message itself that he is able to join us online because he was away from this nation, and we wanted him here today, but then of course unfortunately he couldn't. But he is so gracious to be connected with us, communicate with us, interact with us, and praise us for our success. Really, and not only he did that, he also said that it is it shows the power of the nation, and he also chalked out a future plan of action for us, for the explorers.
The landing has happened. Last question I want to ask, what are the next few critical days? What can we expect from ISRO? What is the next forward?
So immediately we will be looking at various health parameters and preparing for the rover to come out. Maybe in that we will announce later, and we will start the experiments because we have only 14 days left. In 14 days, as much experiment, as much data collection has to happen. So that's what we are trying to do.
Much appreciated time, sir. Thank you so much. So that was the ISRO chief saying that it's the soft landing on moon, on the south pole of moon, is a huge success, and it's a momentous day. It's a huge day for not for the just for the country, not just for India, but also for the world. Finally, India has managed to do the unthinkable, and now ISRO chief is saying they want to send a man on moon, land there. With camera person C.K. Ashok, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Bengaluru.
Also following the successful landing and the jubilant scenes at the Indian Space Agency ISRO, DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya also spoke exclusively with the Indian space scientists involved in this historic achievement. Take a look.
ISRO has created history, and to talk about that, I have with me some of the scientists who have worked day and night on this particular project. Ma'am, tell us how elated you are right now feeling.
We are highly excited today, and congratulations to the whole country and all of our ISRO team for today's feat. We are really excited today that we have landed on the moon, and this moment is we are cherishing like anything.
It is definitely a momentous occasion. I'm sure that you guys must have spent a sleepless night, isn't it?
Absolutely, many sleepless nights, including yesterday. And I don't know when we will be getting to sleep again. We have our operations coming up. This will go till next day. Yes, it has been tiring, exhausting, but it is extremely happy occasion. So we are very happy it all ended well.
Yeah. So what about you, ma'am?
Yeah, very excited. We are waiting for the rover operations for looking forward all that.
Right. Ma'am, you are also a senior person here, and tell us how difficult it is to get everybody together. Must be a challenge to get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, sure. But this our team, no, it is super team. I am very proud of my team. It's so happy. We are very happy.
And what about you, sir?
I am very happy. Today is a proud moment for all of us. It was a tearful moment that time. It was very teamwork. Without teamwork, it is not possible.
It is definitely teamwork. Right? So the teamwork is the key out here, and you can see these people out here absolutely ecstatic. Many sleepless night. Probably many times the shoulder must have dropped, but they have made sure that not the whole country, the whole world is proud of their achievement. With camera person CK Ashok, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Bengaluru.
Further into the night, I'm sure, and to tell us all about it, we have Aisha Khanam also joining us from Bengaluru. My colleague Aisha, you witnessed those moments when it finally landed Chandrayaan-3, the lander on the moon, and now, of course, one is waiting to hear about when will the rover be deployed as well. So what can you tell us about that?
Yes, Gautam, it was a monumental moment for India, and it was history scripted on the surface of the moon. And now ISRO did celebrate this occasion, but ISRO's hands are full. They cannot be, seen celebrating this success because they have their next projects ready. And the big task on their hand is deploying the rover from the lander, and this rover will conduct experiments for 14 days. And we are now told that the lander has established contact with the orbiter, and there is a two-way communication between them, and ISRO has received a report that everything is normal there. Since it is a sunrise on the moon today, the sensors will warm up, and these sensors, the solar sensors which the lander has, will get charged, and then ISRO chairman Somnath said that this might the rover might be deployed within 3-4 hours, or it may take 1 day too. It depends on how ISRO wishes to deploy the rover and use this opportunity so that the experiments last for longer time. So at the moment, lander Vikram has established contact. Everything is going fine. There seems to be celebration even on the surface of the moon, because, as I said, it is sunrise on the moon, and this is a new sunrise for India in the space sector, because India has established supremacy and India's leadership. India is a space leader in reaching the south pole of the moon, where no one ventured. So far, America has 6 moon missions which were on the center equatorial part of the moon, and there was also a manned mission, Neil Armstrong, on the moon, but no one has dared to land on the south pole, which is the most mysterious part of the moon, which is the darker side of the moon. So India has scripted history, and India is the first nation to do this, to achieve this milestone. And India, and now India's experiment, India's success will be read and followed by US, China, Japan and Russia. These countries are also preparing for landing on South Pole, and as you can see, India has already landed on South Pole. So the leadership in space sector has been established. The grit and determination after the failure of Chandrayaan-2, India's Chandrayaan-3 has created a history in the
Definitely.
space.
And of course, Aisha, you said that the lander has established contact with the orbiter, and the lander itself has pretty important payloads, 4 of them, the rover too. So has any sort of a data also been received by the orbiter?
Well, some pictures, as the lander was landing, there is a camera under its belly which captures pictures when it is landing. So these pictures have been received by the ISRO, which is a tracking telemetry center here at ISRO. So these pictures, the data analysis will be done because this was one of the first experiments, the first tasks that lander was supposed to perform. As it lands, it had to take the picture of the surface where it is landing. Remember, Chandrayaan-2 could not do it, and the scientists wanted to study what actually went wrong. So Chandrayaan-3 has sent pictures of the place where it has landed, and this will be the study and the data will be analyzed. And
Okay.
But the next big task is deployment of rover, which ISRO is waiting for the right time and the right moment so that the sensors
Got it.
get charged and
That's supposed to settle
the activity
from the landing
continues
and then
further.
perhaps the charging bit, and then we'll see
Yes.
the rover being deployed. Thanks a lot for joining us with that update. Asha Khanam from Bengaluru. Now, still to come up on DD India News Hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India backs BRICS expansion with consensus on the move. And Zimbabweans queue up early to vote in national elections, looking for solutions to their country's economic crisis.
Your name, Ina Krishnamurthy,
Yes.
it sounds so much like an Indian name.
My grandfather fascinated with Mahabharata, Ramayana stories, so he gave my father's name Krishnamurthy.
The handing over of the gavel by Indonesian President in Bali to Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Of course, it's a fascinating, memorable history.
What does Indonesia think is the biggest challenge in the Indo-Pacific?
We don't want this region to be part of any conflict, not unilateral actions.
How does Indonesia see the Quad partnership?
We see it as a plus.
Welcome back. You're watching News Hour. Now, as far as the BRICS summit is concerned, what we can tell you is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India backs the expansion of the grouping with consensus on the follow-up moves. Addressing his BRICS counterparts at the plenary session of the summit meet on Wednesday, he added that India has given highest priority to countries of Global South under its G20 presidency.
The 15th BRICS summit backs solidarity, inclusivity, and equitable world order. As the leaders moved ahead for podium, Prime Minister Modi noticed Indian tricolour kept as a position holder. As a testament to his unparalleled respect for tricolour, PM Modi picked it up without hesitation. South Africa President Ramaphosa follows suit and picks his country's flag too. Addressing the plenary session, Indian PM backed the expansion of the five-nation grouping and stated that India has given highest priority to countries of Global South under its G20 presidency.
भारत ब्रिक्स की सदस्यता में विस्तार का पूरा समर्थन करता है और इसमें कॉन्सेंसस के साथ आगे बढ़ने का स्वागत करता है। 2016 में भारत की अध्यक्षता के दौरान हमने ब्रिक्स को बिल्डिंग रिस्पॉन्सिव, इंक्लूसिव एंड कलेक्टिव सॉल्यूशन से परिभाषित किया था। 7 साल बाद हम कह सकते हैं कि ब्रिक्स विल बी ब्रेकिंग बैरियर्स, revitalizing economies, inspiring innovation, creating opportunities, and shaping the future.
Indian PM Modi welcomed the move to give special importance to countries of Global South under South Africa's BRICS presidency.
दक्षिण अफ्रीका की अध्यक्षता में ग्लोबल साउथ के देशों को ब्रिक्स में एक महत्व विशेष दिया गया है। हम इसका हृदय से स्वागत करते हैं। यह वर्तमान समय की मात्र अपेक्षा ही नहीं बल्कि जरूरत भी है। भारत ने अपनी G20 अध्यक्षता में इस विषय को सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता दी है। वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर, इस मूल मंत्र पर हम सभी देशों के साथ मिलकर आगे बढ़ने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं।
Prime Minister Modi sets out 5 suggestions for BRICS collaboration, including in outer space, innovation, skills development, protection of wildcats, and in a repository of traditional medicine.
हम ब्रिक्स सैटेलाइट कॉन्स्टेलेशन पर पहले से काम कर रहे हैं। एक कदम आगे बढ़ाते हुए हम ब्रिक्स स्पेस एक्सप्लोरेशन कंसोरियम बनाने पर विचार कर सकते हैं। इसके अंतर्गत हम स्पेस रिसर्च, वेदर मॉनिटरिंग जैसे क्षेत्रों में ग्लोबल गुड के लिए काम कर सकते हैं। मेरा दूसरा सुझाव है शिक्षा, स्किल डेवलपमेंट और टेक्नोलॉजी में सहयोग। ब्रिक्स को एक फ्यूचर रेडी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बनाने के लिए हमें अपनी सोसाइटीज को फ्यूचर रेडी बनाना होगा।
Earlier in the day, Indian Prime Minister held a productive meeting with South African President in Johannesburg. They discussed strengthening the India-South Africa partnership in diverse sectors such as boosting business ties, security, and people-to-people connect. With Shubhendu and Amritpal, Bureau Report, DD India.
Let's now get you a direct update live from Johannesburg. My colleague Amritpal Singh is joining us from there. Amrit, good evening to you from New Delhi. Now, in terms of this entire centerpiece of BRICS expansion, how is it going to go further? Because Prime Minister Modi clearly said that we wish to have consensus on the modalities. Will the declaration that will come of the 15th summit throw some more light on it?
Yes, exactly. Once the declaration, Gautam, is out, we would know whether these countries have been admitted. But the indications that I am getting from my sources here, including the Sherpa of South Africa, Dr. Anil Suklal, he told me on camera that yes, there are new members being added. It remains to be seen. They are still negotiating who the new members would be. But that's what my sources are saying, that the declaration could have it, but it is left to the leaders to decide. The Sherpas, how the process works is the Sherpas reach an agreement, do the legwork, and some decisions are finally left to the leaders, as in like the leaders finally signed the joint declaration. So unless it's done, it's not done really. But yes, there seems to be broadly a consensus on one, there should be expansion of the BRICS amongst the countries who have applied, and also from broadly they have a draft proposal on what criteria they should meet and what requirements they should meet. Gautam?
All right, just stick around, Amritpal. We have got Dasha Chernashova also joining us from Moscow. Good evening to you, Dasha. In terms of what President Putin said, because there's a lot of focus also among the other leaders on ensuring that this peace in Ukraine and between Ukraine and Russia, this goal ought to be pursued in right earnest. It didn't seem as if President Putin was really going to follow that line to a large extent, because he's still insisting that it's the West's fault that this war has broken out.
Well, as we have heard, the Russian president was explaining the reasons why Moscow was forced, according to the Russian president, to start the so-called special military operation in Ukraine. And that was in response to the Western hybrid war against Russia by the Western countries and their satellites. So Russia has been there to stand up for the people who wanted to define their future and defend their culture. That's according to the Russian President Vladimir Putin, who was addressing the conference via the video link. The Russian president was also saying very clearly that he supported and thanked the BRICS countries for their attempts to find a negotiated solution to the conflict in Ukraine. But very clearly, at the moment, it does seem to be unrealistic, because Moscow does insist that Russia has to end these Western attempts to impose their hegemony. And that is why there is this special military operation in Ukraine, because Ukraine at the moment, according to Moscow, is posing a threat to Russia. And we are seeing that on a daily basis by drones from Ukraine attacking even the Russian capital for the 6th day in a row. On Wednesday, Moscow has seen those attacks. So certainly at the moment, as the Russian president was speaking to the BRICS leaders, it doesn't seem to be that the peaceful solution is on the agenda. The military solution is paramount now, and Moscow says it will be achieving its goals.
All right, just stay with me, Dasha, for a minute. Amrit, if I could return to you in terms of the inductions, that is something that President Putin also supported. What can we really expect? Because it seems that 22 countries have formally applied, and it doesn't seem as if all of them will be admitted in one go. So how will the beginning be made? Will there be focus on the oil-producing aspirants?
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, not all of them would be admitted this time around. There'll be expansion, incremental expansion of the BRICS. Requirements, criteria, etc., need to be solidified. But more than that, what really will finally be the deciding factor on who should be admitted, who shouldn't be admitted, would be on would depend upon on the names of the countries the existing members can agree upon, because each country has their own interests, though all of them jointly say that yes, the voice of the global south needs to be strengthened, and therefore the emerging economies should be added, and the bigger the group, the more weight it lends to the narrative of the global south or the developing world, etc. But the fact remains that within the grouping, the members do not agree on everything entirely, as it is in any grouping. Russia may have its own reasons for pushing the expansion, given that the isolation it's facing from the West. The Chinese and the Indians may have their own priorities and strategic interests at heart. Obviously, they would want more influence on the grouping, etc. Now, unless, because it's a consensual organization, unless all five agree on the names of who should be admitted, even if one objects, then it's difficult to admit those countries into the grouping. So therefore, this is a process which will be a long-drawn process. Negotiations will go on. So I don't think in one go everybody will be admitted, Gautam.
All right. Let me return to Dasha again with a question that seems to be a source of slight differences of perspective. We've seen Russia and China talk about de-dollarization very specifically, whereas the other constituents are only talking about increasing trade in each other's native or national currencies. So there's a clear difference there. How is that going to be resolved as well, Dasha?
Well, the Russian president was also indeed talking about the deeper ties among the BRICS nations, and one of the issues here is the inevitability, as the Russian president has described it, of the de-dollarization of the relations among these countries. That is, of course, about the trade in the local currencies of these countries. That has been one of the issues that Moscow has been putting at the forefront. Russia has been calling for the multipolarity of the international world order, and de-dollarization is one of the issues that has to be accompanying this process. The Russian president was also talking about the creation of the transportation that would be allowing tighter economic relations among the states. Now, the U.S. suggesting that there has to be the special body that would be overseeing those issues. But anyway, Russia is saying that tighter cooperation among the BRICS countries would become the brick in the new world order that will be given more voice to the countries that have been underrepresented on the world stage. But this multipolarity of the international relations, according to Russia, is absolutely inevitable, and the BRICS countries will be helping in that.
All right. Well, let's see progress happen on those fronts, and that would be indicated perhaps by the declaration that will come a little later in the night. Thanks a lot for joining us, Dasha, for those inputs from Moscow. And of course, Amrit, more updates to come from Johannesburg, so we'll keep tapping into you later on as well. Thanks for joining us for the time being. Now, still to come on DD India's News Hour. Japan is set to release treated radioactive water from the defunct Fukushima nuclear power plant. And Greece continues to battle wildfires, which have destroyed thousands of acres of forest and prompted widespread evacuations.
Your name, Ina Krishnamurthy.
Yes.
It sounds so much like an Indian name.
My grandfather fascinated with Mahabharata, Ramayana stories, so he gave my father's name Krishnamurthy.
The handing over of the gavel by Indonesian President in Bali to Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Of course, it's a fascinating, memorable history.
What does Indonesia think is the biggest challenge in the Indo-Pacific?
We don't want this region to be part of any conflict, not unilateral actions.
How does Indonesia see the Quad partnership?
We see it as a plus.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy. Before we move any further, another look at our top stories. BRICS expansion tops Day 2's agenda of the Johannesburg summit. India's Prime Minister says he's fully supportive of the move. Japan is set to release treated radioactive water from the defunct Fukushima nuclear power plant. And history is made as Chandrayaan-3 successfully lands on the moon's surface. And returning now to our top story this hour, the successful moon landing of Chandrayaan-3. Well, India's President Draupadi Murmu congratulated ISRO and everyone associated with the Chandrayaan-3 mission.
There are days when history is made. Today, with the successful moon landing of the Chandrayaan-3 mission, our Scientists have not only made history but also remade the idea of geography. It is truly a momentous occasion, the kind of event that happens once in a lifetime, making all Indians proud. I congratulate ISRO and everybody involved in this mission and wish them greater accomplishments ahead. The success of Chandrayaan, I believe, is also a major achievement for the whole of humankind. It shows how India has harnessed its rich traditional knowledge base along with modern science in the service of humanity.
And India's space scientists were beside themselves while sharing their joy and happiness after the successful landing of Chandrayaan-3. It's a dream come true moment for them. Listen in.
My name is Madhulika. I'm in the spacecraft operations team. I've been working for Chandrayaan-3 since quite some time now, and it felt great to finally see the touchdown parameter, and this is a sign of a great teamwork, and this will also help us. This inspires a lot of upcoming generations to work ahead, and we look forward to more successful missions.
Hi, my name is Anshul. I'm working as a scientist in ISRO, and we all want to thank Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji for the best wishes, and we are all very happy with all the hard work and determination. Finally, we have achieved something that was pending from long, and now moon is within the reach.
My name is Ashok Kumar Sharma, and I am working as a spacecraft controller in Chandrayaan-3. And sir, I work in Mars mission also. And today we made it history. It was really great effort by each and every team members. I'm very feeling happy.
This is Abrojit. So I have been only a part of this mission for the last 2 months, but then I can only imagine what has gone for years and years and years of hard work. Like, I think this is very less number of people were fitted in here, which so many thousands of people have worked for it, and I'm really fortunate that I'm here on this momentous day that I'm witnessing this telemetry, on live telemetry.
This is Pooja Prasad. I have been working since 3 years in Chandrayaan-2 orbiter, and we have tried to set up a communication link with Chandrayaan-3 lander. So for that we have tried, given number of dry runs and tests for it. And we have seen here Chandrayaan-3 people struggling days and nights and continuously giving their inputs. So this is really a memorable day for us, and yes, we will cherish this moment every time.
I am Rahul Kumar Mishra. I was a controller in propulsion module. Also, throughout the firing and reaching to the moon orbit, it was a job of ours, and it was well done. And all the system performed normally, and I am feeling very, very proud for this moment.
Myself, Kamlesh Kumar Sharma. I am working as a spacecraft controller of lander spacecraft, and it was a great achievement for all of us. Our team did a fantastic job, and we are going great. Okay. And right now, the rover operation will be going on, and we will have some scientific experiment and scientific things also through the rover. So it's a proud moment for all of us.
Myself, Saran Srivastav, joined ISRO into 2021, and since then I'm working in Chandrayaan-2 orbiter as a controller. So now all that you can witness, the vibe is awesome, and India, it's a very proud moment for us since India became the first country to do this soft landing.
I'm Aishwarya. I'm also working in ISRO. I'm really happy for the achievement that India has received after very tireless efforts of like every day and night. My colleagues were working. I'm really happy to see the happy faces, and good luck to all.
And those are just some of the young, happy faces who have piloted India's moon mission success. Now, as India landed on the moon's south pole, Nehru Planetarium in the national capital, Delhi, was buzzing with excitement as well. DD India's Bendu Mondal was there to catch all and soak it in.
India today has achieved a historical feat. We have landed on the moon's south pole, the only nation across the world to achieve this spectacular feat. Here at Nehru Planetarium, the mood, the excitement, the sloganeering of Bharat Mata Ki Jai is exceptional. People are celebrating. Here we have a man. कैसे मैं भारत विश्व पटल पर आ चुका है।
क्लासिक एग्जाम्पल है, आत्मनिर्भर भारत का। मोदी है तो मुमकिन है। 130 करोड़ लोगों के लिए बहुत गर्व की बात है।
आज हम हिंदुस्तान की चौथी बड़ी ताकत बन गए हैं। जो चंद्रयान-3 यानी विक्रम को हम चंद्रमा की सतह पर, वो भी साउथ पोल पर उतारने में सफल हुए हैं। साउथ पोल पर आज तक मेरे ख्याल से कोई नहीं उतार पाया। ये हमारी अभूतपूर्व विजय है।
आज मुंह से ज्यादा आंखें बोल रही हैं और जब चांद को चूमा प्रज्ञान ने तो आंखें छलक आई, आंखें बरस आई। यूं लगा कि हम भारतीयों के सपने पूरे हो गए। करोड़ों भारतीयों की दिल की दुआएं भगवान ने सुन ली। जो मेहनत की, परिश्रम की पराकाष्ठा वैज्ञानिकों ने की थी, वो सफल हो गई। I was watching you that you have been here since the afternoon with this poster. How are you? What is your expression when India landed on the lunar surface?
Just one word, we are pleasured because we are Indian. हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं। एक बार इंदिरा गांधी जी के समय में राकेश शर्मा जी से पूछा था ऊपर से हिंदुस्तान कैसा दिखता है, तो उन्होंने एक ही शब्द बोला था, सारे जहां से अच्छा। यहाँ से बोला था हिंदुस्तान हमारा, तो आज पता चल गया कि सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा। हिंदुस्तानी सबसे आगे है, चाहे वो धरती में हो, पानी में हो, अंतरिक्ष में हो, हिंदुस्तानी ही सबसे आगे है।
And India has witnessed this history, and I'm joined by this gentleman who has also been part of this history that India has made today. What's your reaction?
It's really awesome, and it's really motivating that how our scientists, our brave scientists, are motivating us and motivating our future generation to connect with space. And I wish that my daughter grew up and become a scientist like them and become an astronaut, and maybe in future missions she can be the person to land on moon. That's what I dream after seeing all this.
Of course, you know, this is what inspires younger generations like hers to achieve something as great as what this Chandrayaan mission has achieved today and put India on the top of the world global list. With camera person Kumar Dutt, this is Dibyendu Mondal from New Delhi for DD India.
And a sense of pride and joy was also palpable in your DD India newsroom as well as Chandrayaan-3 landed on the moon's south pole. In the final moments, as anxiety and apprehension gave way to cheers and applause, the newsroom reflected the hopes and aspirations of the entire country. And the 14th Administrator of National Aeronautics and Space Administration, that's the American Space Agency, NASA, also congratulated ISRO on the landing. In a post on social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, Bill Nelson said that NASA is glad to be a partner on this mission. One of the payloads is of NASA on board the entire mission. Well, India prayed, worshipped deities, mumbled chants. Many held their breaths in the final moments, bit their nails, and finally, all their wishes came true. Anxious moments quickly transformed to standing ovations, high fives, and fist bumps. Here's how a nation reacted to the final stage of Chandrayaan-3's journey to the moon and its successful landing.
Special prayers being held at religious places all across India. People from all faiths prayed for Chandrayaan-3's successful moon landing.
It's a great opportunity to speak about Chandrayaan-3. Definitely it's a proud to our nation and proud to our country today. Chandrayaan-3 is very successful and the whole country is celebrating it. And definitely we should see much more success beyond Chandrayaan-3, and we should be one of the countries who can make wonders in the space.
The success of Chandrayaan-3, we have made a special dua in our Islamic Center.
Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri also took part in the special prayer at Gurdwara Bangla Sahib in Delhi.
गुरुद्वारा साहब में स्पेशल अरदास हुई है।
Special ardas has taken place for the safe and successful landing of Chandrayaan-3. With this achievement, India joins an elite club of countries to achieve a soft landing on the moon.
ऐसी accomplishment को हासिल किया है।
Large number of people thronged to ISKCON Temple, Bengaluru, and prayed for the success of Chandrayaan-3. It's a historic moment for India, as the success for Chandrayaan-3 makes it the first country to land on the lunar South Pole. A success spurred on by prayers from all across the nation. Raghav Kumar Jha reporting for DD India.
And there's more to come on DD India News Hour. euro and pound tumble against the dollar due to weak business activity from the euro region and Britain. And in the Chess World Cup 2023, Pragyananda and Carlsen play out a draw. Title clash goes into faster tiebreakers.
Your name, Ina Krishnamurthy.
Yes.
It sounds so much like an Indian name.
My grandfather fascinated with Mahabharata, Ramayana stories, so he gave my father's name Krishnamurthy.
The handing over of the gavel by Indonesian President in Bali to Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Of course, it's a fascinating, memorable history.
What does Indonesia think is the biggest challenge in the Indo-Pacific?
We don't want this region to be part of any conflict, not unilateral actions.
How does Indonesia see the Quad partnership?
We see it as a plus.
Namaste India.
Namaste land.
Marhaban ila al-Hind.
Zari India.
Salam India.
Namaste India.
Namaskar Bharata.
Mui
Nous
India.
sommes land.
Nahnu hunud.
India.
Ma Hindi Hasti.
Mung Hindian.
Salam Hindustan.
We are India.
Turning crisis into opportunity, transforming ideas into action, stories of real change, tales of sustainable solution. This series is going to tell stories of such change makers. Watch Change Makers on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy, and we're taking you back to one of our top stories, which is India's success in space, making history with its moon mission Chandrayaan-3, which has made a safe, soft landing near the south pole of the moon. To talk about this success, we're now joined by In-Space Director Praful Kumar Jain. Good evening to you, Mr. Jain from Delhi. And first up, your reaction on this tremendous feat that India's space scientists have achieved and its implications for taking India's space ambitions further. Mr. Jain, can you hear me?
Yeah, Gautam, I can hear you.
Could you unmute, please?
Sorry, again, your audio, I think there is some issue. Your audio is not very clear.
Mr. Jain's audio at the moment. We'll try and reconnect with him and fix that link, but at the moment we're not getting his audio. Let me try once again. Mr. Jain, can you hear me? This is Gautam Roy from the Delhi studio of DD India. Just like your first reaction on this tremendous feat of India's space scientists.
Yeah, Gautam, actually your audio is not very clear.
Just a bit. Let's move on for the time being and talk about what's been happening as far as Japan is concerned with that entire quest for ensuring, in fact, we're talking about Thailand now, and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated his Thailand counterpart, Shreta Thavisin, on the fact that he's been elected by the people and has won the elections. Prime Minister Modi posted on X, which is formerly Twitter, and I quote, "Heartiest congratulations, Thavisin, on your election as the Prime Minister of Thailand. I look forward to working closely with you for taking India-Thailand bilateral relations to a higher level." Thavisin of the Pheu Thai Party has been confirmed as Prime Minister after receiving royal endorsement. Earlier, Thavisin won the support of nearly two-thirds of the country's lawmakers, ending almost 3 months of political deadlock. This has paved the way for the formation of a new coalition government. And pressure has been mounting on Japan against its plan to release contaminated water from the Fukushima nuclear power plant into the ocean on the 24th of August onwards. Concerns remain high in Japan and overseas over its decision to discharge more than 1 million metric tons of radioactive water. Many people are worried over contamination of seafood and the ocean. The Chinese Foreign Ministry's spokesperson has strongly urged Japan to revoke its decision, while Hong Kong has set up a special team to monitor and review a ban on some seafood from Japan. The Japanese government approved the plan 2 years ago, which is crucial for decommissioning the nuclear power plant, but local fishing groups slammed the decision, fearing damage of reputation to Japan's fishing industry. In South Korea, the opposition party and civic groups have criticized Tokyo for allegedly threatening fishery products and jeopardizing the safety of Pacific countries. But documents from the Japanese government show that radioactive elements will be removed from the water, leaving only traces that are far below regulatory standards. And for more on this development, Chris Gilbert has sent us this report from Tokyo.
Project is finally going to be launched, and when it is, it may be 30 or 40 years before it's completed. The process is already underway. TEPCO, the company running the project, has throughout Wednesday been testing initial samples of treated water. They released about a metric ton of it into a dilution tank and then mixed it with a much larger amount, 1,000 metric tons of pure uncontaminated seawater. And the reason they did that is because an isotope called tritium cannot be treated. It cannot be removed. Their answer is diluted to very small concentrations. And so they have done this. They're testing it to make sure that the levels of tritium that remain after dilution are safe in their esteem, do meet the requirements set by the IAEA and international law, and are fit in their esteem to be discharged into the ocean, which will begin on Thursday should everything go according to plan. Then remains widespread opposition to this discharge, particularly and vehemently from Beijing, but also from South Korea opponents, despite the state now saying that they are on board with the science that has been presented and the IAEA rubber stamp, but also particularly here in Japan. Even though 50% of the whole country says that they, to some degree, support or approve of the discharge, many of the communities at the discharge location and along that coastline remain vehemently opposed. They say, the fishers say, the government has broken its promise to win their approval before pursuing this discharge, and also saying that they do not trust TEPCO to carry it out. It will be their children and their grandchildren who will be affected over the coming 3 or 4 decades. Chris Gilbert in Tokyo, reporting for DD India.
All right, now we're taking you back to our top story about India's triumph in space on the moon, the landing that is taking place that has had the world applauding this feat by India's scientists. We're now joined by In-Space Director Praful Kumar Jain to talk about it further. First of all, congratulations to you as a member of the scientific community as well. Your first thoughts on this triumph and what it means for India's space ambitions.
Gautam, I cannot hear you again.
Just wanted to ask you what it means to you as a person who's part of this community of space scientists.
No, Gautam, I cannot hear you. I'm so sorry.
It seems I'm not audible to Mr. Jain at the moment. We're also joined by Nilesh Desai, Space Application Center Director. If I could ask you, Mr. Desai, what does this mean as far as India's space ambitions is concerned? What are your first thoughts at this great moment that India and the world has witnessed? Mr. Desai, can you hear me?
Can you repeat it, sir?
Hello, while we try and fix that connection, we're trying to play out again for you the triumphant moments of India's unprecedented foray into space, only becoming the fourth nation to land on the moon, but the first one to land close to the south pole of the moon, which is completely unexplored and has a lot of interesting prospects as far as the future of space exploration is concerned. We would love to talk about it further with our guests, but for the moment we're unable to connect, and moving on. Now, a passenger bus in Nepal has skidded off the main highway and plunged into the Trishuli River in Bagmati province, killing at least 8 people and injuring 17 others. The Nepali army, police force and local volunteers are carrying out rescue efforts. Greece is continuing to battle wildfires after the death of 20 people. The wildfires have destroyed thousands of acres of forest and prompted widespread evacuations as well. At least 20 migrants, including 2 children, were found dead in the northeastern port city of Alexandroupolis. Helicopters have dropped water as firefighters battle the blaze, which is being fanned by high winds in the summer's second major outbreak. Officials have ordered more evacuations in the region as wildfires are now spreading to neighboring country Turkey. The euro and pound tumbled against the dollar due to weak business activity from the euro region and Britain. For the first time, the services component fell to 48.3 from 50.9. The single currency weakened after the German data hit its lowest level against the dollar since the 15th of June. There was a similar picture for the pound, which fell to its lowest level in over a week. The dollar index rose to its highest level since the 8th of June. A recent run of strong U.S. economic data has allayed worries of an impending recession, but inflation is still above the Fed's target of 2%. Investors are wary that the central bank may keep rates in a higher range. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Wednesday addressed the Sri Lankan Parliament. He highlighted the strong historical and cultural links between the two countries. The address was played in the presence of the Parliament Speaker, Mahinda Yapa Abewardena, and members of the India-Sri Lanka Parliamentary Friendship Association.
At NATO, India obviously has a strong interest in Sri Lanka's development, stability, progress and prosperity. It was only natural, therefore, that we responded promptly and effectively to the economic crisis that you all faced over the last year. We neither waited for the IMF nor for multilateral development banks, nor indeed other major bilateral creditors in making our own decisions about assistance. Not just that, the overall commitment we made of about $4 billion is the largest of its kind ever done by us.
Let's now get you some top sporting updates as well. Now, in the final of the FIDE World Cup, India's Grandmaster R. Pragnananda drew the second game against world number 1 Magnus Carlsen on Wednesday. The two players settled for a quiet draw in 30 moves after 1.5 hours of play in Game 2. Game 1 on Tuesday also ended in a draw after 35 moves, but it lasted much longer as Carlsen tried to chase a win with black pieces. The champion will be decided in the tie breaks on Thursday. Pragnananda has been enjoying an incredible run in the tournament, having already defeated world number 2 Hikaru Nakamura and world number 3 Fabiano Caruana. And cricket legend Sachin Tendulkar started a new innings as a national icon at the Election Commission of India. He signed a 3-year contract at an event organized in New Delhi.
Sachin Tendulkar has been appointed as the Election Commission of India's national icon for voter awareness and education. The Indian cricket legend and Bharat Ratna recipient will help engage various segments of society and encourage them to participate in democracy. Sachin looked very excited about his new role. Sachin Tendulkar signed an MOU with the Election Commission for a 3-year period at Rang Bhavan of All India Radio in Delhi.
It is our prime responsibility to exercise our voting rights with due diligence. I've always made it a point to vote, along with me, of course, Anjali as well. But it was a touching moment to see when Sarah and Arjun also joined us when they were eligible to vote. It is a responsibility which should not be ignored.
The Election Commission of India aims to leverage Tendulkar's popularity and influence among the youth to encourage greater participation in the upcoming elections, particularly the general elections in 2024.
When we approached him, he is working for us absolutely pro bono, and the passion which he had, and which he mentioned also that in the second inning, he wants to contribute in deepening the democracy and strengthening the democracy. We must salute this, and it's a big applause for you to have come here.
In the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, they enlisted cricketer MS Dhoni and boxer Mary Kom as their national icons to promote voter awareness and participation. This time, the involvement of Sachin Tendulkar in the electoral process can play a significant role in motivating citizens to actively participate in the democratic process and exercise their right to vote. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, batting for people to come out more and more in the elections now, Sachin Tendulkar. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India News Hour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.